Question?
Yeah, Pete. We just saw that you guys have activated Greg Olson to return to practice. What's the plan and prognosis with him for this week and probably in the next week?
He's made an extraordinary recovery to get to this right now. So we're going to practice him during the week and see what happens. See how he does.
Do you think it's possible that he could actually play this week?
It's possible.
Likely.
Hey, you're really pushing me now. Possible. We'll see. We got, I wouldn't have any idea. We have, he's been working out with the guys. We got to see how he does on the practice field.
Joe Fan.
Pete, Adam Schefter reported over the weekend that Brian Schottenheimer's name has been floated for the head coach opening in Houston. I'm curious what you make of him as a candidate, and have you spoken with him about the potential of getting interviews after your season?
I think he's an incredible candidate. I think he's exactly what coaches or owners are looking for. He's been around. He's been in charge. He commands the whole team with his leadership. He's got great background. I say that because I know he's been through our program for enough years that I know that he's got his philosophy in order. He's got his approach and how he would do it because we've worked on all that stuff, and so he's ready to go. We haven't talked about it this time around yet, but we've talked about it in the past, and I did hear that like yesterday or something like that maybe there's something up. So see what happens.
Corbin Smith.
Hey, Pete, Washington has spent a lot of draft capital on their defensive line the last few years, 3 straight years with first-round picks on the defensive line. Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, and this year Chase Young. What about each of those 3 players concerns you the most going into this game, especially considering Brandon Shell's uncertain status?
Yeah, it's really the whole unit that really makes this thing move. They're just loaded. They're able to play a lot of base defense and be really effective with their 4-man rush, but also how they play the run too. And it's built around those guys, and it's a real challenge to have that kind of quality on the edge. Just makes such a difference, and Jack knows what he's doing with making those guys available for a lot of outside edge type rushing. It's what all the coaches are looking for.
Michael Sean Dugar.
Hey, Pete, what kind of challenge has it been not having the secondary that you were practicing with all through training camp?
Well, I think it's been a challenge the whole time in a sense because we never have really been able to really benefit from the continuity that you could have. You can see how much better we are, playing together at this point now. To have those guys together the whole time would have helped. But we've had a lot of guys step in and do a nice job, and I like the way our guys are playing right now.
If Clinton can play, would he just go right back in on the right side?
I got to see how he works and during the week and all that, but I'm hoping he would be available.
Bob Condotta.
What is Brandon Shell's status? Are you hoping he'll be able to practice and play this week? I know you said that on Monday, but
yes, that's where we are right now. And but these are those. I always kind of say the same thing. We'll have to wait till the end of the week to see how he develops. I can't call it now. We won't practice him today.
Their quarterback situation. I know you talked about this a couple weeks ago with Philadelphia. I mean, he sort of just practiced for the team largely, but in their case with Alex Smith and all that, I mean, obviously he's made a big difference since he's been playing. I mean, how do you sort of look at that?
Fortunately, we've seen enough of both quarterbacks, and so we have plenty of film. So we know how they've chosen to play with them, in championship situations. So that we're clued in. They've got a really cool offense and style about the way they do their thing, and both quarterbacks can manage really well. The difference is Alex has just been around so much longer. He just has so much more background. But both guys are talented, big arms, really quick releases on both guys, and they utilize it.
Art Teal.
Pete, obviously Washington's got 2 of the best human interest stories, but maybe for a long time in the NFL with Alex Smith and Ron Rivera. And Ron said there is something a little bit to the fact that nobody on his team wants to get caught working less hard than those two guys. And I'm just wondering from your experience about having people around like that and what kind of a difference it might make to the attitude that each player brings to the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could have a more inspiring, story ongoing, than they have, and I mean, that's just like you said, it's a human interest. Everybody can relate to what they're going through and what they pulled off. I mean, Alex's thing is well documented and extraordinary, and to see Ron be able to withstand during this other stuff that's going on as well, to deal with his issues with cancer and all that, and pull through, but not just make it, but to make it and excel. Both guys excelling at what they do. It's just as good as it gets in terms of inspiration and I'm sure motivation for a lot of people that are trying to make it through a lot of hard stuff. And both those guys have come across with such feeling and empathy and for others and willingness to share their story and all of that, it's really powerful.
Masvida.
Hey, Pete, I had two questions, one football, one non-football. The football question is just, you alluded to this, Washington's balanced offense. I mean, they seem to be balanced regardless of who's playing quarterback there.
Yeah, just commenting about that. I think this is just a statement about Ron's teams. We've played against these guys for years, and they've always been a really well balanced team in all aspects. They're really solid on special teams. They're committed to running the football. The quarterback doesn't get sacked. They're fighting to hang on to the ball like you're supposed to in this game, and they always play terrific defense. And so it just makes for a really well-balanced club that you're going against, and they've got some real highlights too. They highlight their players on offense, but they've got real highlight players on defense. I'm sure as good as he's ever had, and so. They're a dangerous club, and the fact that they started like they did, I think, just fuels them to where they are now. This team's on fire right now.
And then on the non-football, how much pride do you take in developing a plan with your assistant coaches in terms of moving to the next level? And I wonder, is that something you got from Bud Grant or? I guess I'm referencing like Schottenheimer moving,
Sure. Yeah, well, okay, couple things. I'll just tell you a quick little story that there was a time back in the day when I was at Minnesota when I had a chance to get interviewed for another job, and we had always, been led to think that you could go, and if you wanted to go, they let you go, and then I got restricted, and didn't get to go, and from that point forward, I always felt like that the coaches should have the freedom to go and advance their careers because they might not get another chance again. So I always thought that if I ever was in that position, I would do that. So I have been I think a full-on advocate for helping our guys move ahead. And I don't want to restrict anybody. I mean, I'll tell guys what I think in situations and give them an opinion, but I'm not restricting them from moving because I want them to advance and aspire to the things that they want to accomplish and all that. And I like also, I've always liked knowing that other coaches that come to us know that that's the case. So when you're competing and for coaches to come to your staff and all, I want them to know that this is a great place and that the head coach will back them up and support them, and become everything they can possibly become. That's not a new theme for me, as you know, but it's a real obvious opportunity to illustrate it. So that's why we work at helping guys understand, the makeup of this position, and we talk a lot. They hear me going through the decision making and the process of it and all that. So they're getting schooled up, along the way, because all of a sudden you get a job like this and there's a million things that come to light, and you need to be prepared as best as possible. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in helping guys in that regard.
Curtis?
Yeah, Pete, a couple quick things. How's Josh Gordon kind of worked back into the mix? I know he hasn't been able to practice with you, but just kind of getting back into the building. And then just at this point in the season, kind of your general thoughts on your rookie class as a whole up until this point and how they've kind of come along.
Well, Josh's workouts are going great, and he's really fit. He feels really good. He feels like he's ready to jump on a practice field. He'll have all of this week, and then he'll be available to us next week. This is a really important week for him to finish it up and be, he needs to be at game speed and game tempo and conditioning and all of that. And it's a lot to ask, but that's what we're asking. And so he's working like crazy. Ever since we had a chance, we've really stepped it up for him to make sure that he's challenged by that. As far as the rookie class, unfortunately, we haven't had Darrell Taylor, which would have really been something to see, I think. But Jordan Brooks has been great, and right on down the line, our guys they've contributed in a big way. They've been really good attitude guys. I think it's really a statement in the last couple of years. The character and the personality of the guys that we've brought into the program have really been guys you can count on. I mean, they've given you that feeling. Freddie Swain and DJ, those guys have been remarkable additions to our team that they could hold their own and play from day one without preseason and all the rest. I just think it's been a really good group, and we're very fortunate that they're contributing and part of it.
John Boyle.
Yeah, Pete, this is now every year since Bobby and Russ were rookies. You guys have had winning records. I know a million people have been involved in that, but those two in particular, just what have they meant to this team's long-term success?
They've been the leaders the whole way. They've been the guys that have been out in front and carry the message and make whatever I'm pitching, have make sense. I need a lot of help, and those guys have always been right there. They're just class character people, and it's so important to them to represent for themselves and for their club, and they're just incredible competitors, so you can't ask for more than what those guys have been, and like we have said before, they've been rewarded for it as well. They've been recognized and seen for the great players and the contributors that they are, and they do such a respectful job in the community and everything that they do, everything they stand for. So they've been perfect.
Ben.
Hey, Pete, Terry McLaurin was in DK Metcalf's draft class. Just how impressive of a wide receiver do you think he is? I mean, he's a different kind of receiver than DK, but, he gets it done too.
Yeah, he's really good. We really liked him. And because of his toughness and playmaking, he has great speed, just a stud of a guy and a great kid. So we like the heck out of him coming out. I'm not surprised. He was one of the guys I felt really confident in, that if we put him on our club, he would be a terrific player. He's their guy, and he's legit. He's doing a great job.
And then at this point, do you have any optimism still that Darrell Taylor will be able to play in the regular season for you guys?
We're really running out of time. Next week is really the last shot for us to get a chance, and he'll have to jump out then. And the treatment that he went through does kind of culminate this week. We'll see what that means. I don't mean to give you any hope at this point, other than we just got to wait and see. But it's not too late. Fortunately, we might have some more games to play, and if we're fortunate enough, and we'd love to have him available.
Greg.
Hello, sir. What's it tell you about Greg Olsen, with all the money he's made, 35 years old, he's only been with your team for a few months, he's got a Fox TV job and millions waiting on him, that he's pushing to come back and be a part of this?
He's the real deal. He's such a great football player. He loves this game so much. He loves competing so much. I mean, there is no space other than he is the top of the list in all of those character principles about who he is and what he's all about and what you can expect from him. He's amazing. And I mean, I don't even know how he got well this fast. I don't have a clue how that happened, but he did. And I mean, he's dying to play right now. He wants to get out there. He's a perfect competitor to have in your club.
And then Brandon Shaw, what's he given you? He plays somewhat anonymously on the right side, but what has he done for you guys coming over this year?
He's been really steady, strong, in the run game, in the pass game, assignment sound, accountable. He's real quiet. He's really quiet, doesn't say a word. He's in on everything, cares about everything. I love that acquisition. I think he's so steady, and he's going to really – I hope he can be around for a long time with us.
Brady?
Hi, Pete. Another one going back to the 2010 season. When you got here, you and John got here, you guys made a ton of transactions that year, and you started to turn the roster over. As you were doing that, how realistic did you think it would be to be in the postseason that year?
Well, I wasn't thinking anything but that. I don't let myself think anything but that. So that was in our mind. So we just went about it with, it was the classic start to, always compete. We were competing at every single turn, every single opportunity, and we have attempted to be that way since, and that's been the philosophy that's guided everything that we've done. There's no opportunity that we want to be on the outside of, so. I don't know. I can tell you that's the only. I don't know how to think any other way. So.
And with the way that season was going, some of the losses that you guys had were by double digits.
No way.
At any point, did you have to ingrain in the team the possibility that even with an under 500 record, they could still be in the playoff?
Heck yeah, we did. We were the whole way. We didn't. I wasn't thinking that it was impossible, and so. If it would even had a chance, that's how we were going. And the closer we got to it, kind of the better it got, in the sense that, it was unpredictable and beyond scope, and we got, knocked down for it and all that kind of stuff. But then we come back and we win the freaking game against the world champs. It kick-started us in terms of how much you're willing to believe in ability to persevere and overcome and resilience. All that stuff. It was really the start of all of that, and wasn't a bad way to start. I just wish, like I always tell you, I just wish we would have beat Chicago. Then we really had something going.
Thanks.
Tim?
Pete, you mentioned it earlier about familiarity with Ron, with how much you guys played Carolina. With all those games, what were some of the characteristics that stood out about the Panthers? And then do you see some of those characteristics developing when you watch Washington?
Absolutely. Yeah. This you can tell this is Ron's team. And in all ways, the balance, the creativity on offense, the aggressive defense, the commitment to the 4-3, pressuring on the edges with their DBs and their linebackers. Really solid kicking game. All of our games, it seemed like everyone was a dogfight all those years. It seemed like we always had to go play in Carolina, but I think he's a terrific ball coach, and he's shown that, and he's doing it again. And I think, again, to overcome all of the things that they 1-5 and all that, and sick and everything else, and pandemic, and you name it, new job. It's a fantastic accomplishment.
Last question, Larry Stone.
Yeah, hey, Pete. There's been a few reports that the NFL has decided not to have postseason bubbles this year. What do you think about that decision? Do you have any concerns on a league-wide basis, or do you feel confident in teams' abilities to make it work?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and have spoken out about that. I really think that that's the way it should go. If you've gotten this far, then you should do it the way you've been doing it. Who's to say that they're going to take you somewhere else and it's going to be better? And all along it's been on the clubs. Just like it was on the states. Well, it's been on the clubs the whole time to figure it out, and the league has supported us well and stayed with it. And if for this far, we should keep doing what we're doing and try to finish it off.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bobby's right up.